Hello, it's MattyFBaby here with some Nightmare Cup action for you, not for me. This is for you. Alright, so today we're gonna break down the Nightmare Cup meta and go over what I think the best Pokemon are. So if you're down with that, let's get rolling. I made this. I made this beautiful little chart, this little flow chart, this little meta breakdown, so let's get rolling so you can learn the basics of the Nightmare Cup. Alright, so look at the top left, right? We got the fighting types.
This is the best fighting Pokemon! This is the best fighting Pokemon!
Great! Now, you're gonna want a fighting type or two on your team of 6. There's only 3 main typings to choose from, so why not have 2 fighting types, right? Because there's different flavors for different fighters. So first, I have the Toxicroak with some green around it, and the Lucario with some red around it. That just reminds you that in mirror type matches against other fighting Pokemon, Toxicroak is going to resist those fighting moves, while Lucario is going to be weak to those fighting moves. So you don't have to use a confusion user or a flying move user to down that Lucario if it's almost dead. You can bring in another fighting type Pokemon. And guess what? That Lucario is going to go down in a few hits, while your fighting type Pokemon, especially Toxicroak or especially Poliwrath, they're going to barely take any damage. So that's pretty neat, right? Poliwrath, let's talk about him real quick. That dude is thick. That is one thick dude. That dude takes like an army to kill sometimes. You sit there confusing it, you're like, how many confusions is it going to take? So Poliwrath, you get the Mudshot Legacy move on a Poliwrath, you are set, man. I got wrecked by a Mudshot, Power Up Punch, Hydro Pump Poliwrath. Shout out to Stix10, go check him out. Dude wrecked me, ate my lunch, breakfast, and dinner one day with his Mudshot Hydro Pump Poliwrath with Power Up Punch. That thing was a beast, but if you can get a Mudshot Poliwrath, easily one of the best Pokemon for this cup. It is a very thick fighting type Pokemon. I really like it a lot. I am currently in Arizona just begging the local community to help me find a Mudshot Poliwrath and one more legacy Pokemon that we'll talk about later. But anyways, that's the fighting Pokemon for the most part. The thing is, most of them are going to be pretty decent at countering that Xatu, right? Look at Xatu over there. I got arrows pointing towards the fighting, and that's true. Xatu's going to win most of those matchups, but you have to play it right. Because you look at Hitmonchan, and you look at Poliwrath. They both got Ice Punch or Thunder Punch for Hitmonchan. They both have counter moves for that flying type. You look at Lucario. It's got that Shadow Ball. It has a counter move. So those fighting type Pokemon, they're not going to be completely wrecked by Xatu, but I do have him beating them, because he's going to beat them in most situations. He's going to definitely resist the crap of that Mud Bomb, but the Dynamic Punch and the Sludge Bomb, especially from the Toxicroak, that's going to do pretty decent. Okay, all these fighting type Pokemon are not going to do well from the confusion users at the bottom. You know, they're going to lose most of those matchups unless you have a great energy and shield advantage and you play it better than your opponent. But yeah, that's the fighting type. I really like that Poliwrath, man. And I really want Hitmonchan to be like the fighting type Pokemon. I really want to use that, but there's just a lot in the fighting department. I'm not even talking about Heracross in this video. We're leaving Heracross completely out. So yeah, I really like all 4 of these fighters. They all do a lot of different things. The Lucario is not going to take as big of damage from the confusions and from the flying attacks. So although it does lose in most mirror matches to other fighters, it does have a lot of advantages when fighting those psychic type counters. So moving on.
This is the best stealth Pokemon!
Let's go look over at the dark type. At the top, we got the Poison Boys. We got Drapion, Skuntank, and Alolan Muck. And you might think Skuntank, well, that's the clear favorite, right? Well, I'm not so sure about that, right? Because Drapion's that spam master for this cup. He says, I can use Infestation Bug, or you can use Bite. I like Infestation Bug because it's going to be doing some good damage, super effective damage to both the Psychic and Dark types, which the Crunch is also going to do to the Psychic types. It's going to do more damage overall, but you're going to get so much energy gain in comparison with that Infestation Bug. And Drapion is actually considered to be like the top tier Poison Boy out of the Dark types. And all 3 of these Poison Boys, they're going to take care of Shiftry. Shiftry, you know, he's Grass type too. So he's over there like, yeah, I'm a Dark Boy. Yeah, I have some really good matchups against like Poliwrath in particular. I can really wreck a Claydol, you know what I'm saying? My Razor Leaf is going to hurt so many. But the Poison Boys, they're gonna handle that shift tree, okay? So if you got a shift tree and you see a Poison Boy, just know you're probably not in a great situation. You should probably switch out. So that's kind of some dark inner fighting there. The Poison Boys do really well against a lot of the other dark types. Let's look over at Umbreon real quick. Umbreon with Last Resort, bro, that thing is a tank. That thing will sit there and you're like, wow, I'm countering power up punching. And this thing is so, it doesn't even care. Umbreon's like, what? Who's tickling me? Who's over here tickling me? That's what Umbreon says. Let's go look at our guy Alolan Raticate. He says, I'm 2 types weak. 2 times weak to fighting. But guess what? That bite hurts, bro. You got quick attack, gaining more energy. I tried it, didn't really like it. Personally, I'm a bite guy. I think bite is going to do better. It's going to really tear through some psychic type Pokemon before they're able to switch. You got half a Xatu gone, bro. Half that Xatu, bye, we'll see you later. Half that Raichu, bye, we'll see you later. And even though Alolan Raticate is going to be having that extra weakness to fighting, that boy's pretty thick. And I have it with some purple around it, right? It's got a purple highlight. And what is that supposed to mean? It's supposed to just remind you, this dude Alolan Raticate, he tanks ghost moves so hard. Ghost type moves don't want to see him, so he is a great counter to Spiritomb, bro. Raticate eats Spiritomb's lunch all day, every day. So that's just a little bit about the dark types. Those are my favorite right there. Those are the 6 best dark types in my opinion. You really got different flavors. Personally, I think of going with one of the Poison Boys and then one of the boys at the bottom. One of the Shift Tree, Umbreon, Alolan Raticate. I really like the Umbreon and Alolan Raticate. I don't have as much experience using Shift Tree. I've faced many of them though, and I usually have more issues facing Alolan Raticate or Umbreon in most situations. So take that with a grain of salt. Moving on.
This is the best psychic Pokemon.
Alright, you are going to want a Psychic type, right? There's lots of options. I have them split up, okay? You need some Psychic Pokemon, and personally, I think you should go with 1 Confusion user, and then 1 of Xatu or Alolan Raichu. Personally, I'm not that good at using Alolan Raichu. I have trouble setting lineups with Alolan Raichu, because it's like, it wins against a lot of the fighters, right? But it's not like some great super matchup, okay? Like the Toxicroak Mud Bomb, it's gonna hit the Mud Bomb the same time that Alolan Raichu is hitting those Thunder Shocks. It's a speed type, so that's a pretty good counter to Alolan Raichu, right? And then we got the Poliwrath. Even though it's taking super effective damage, it's pretty thick, bro. And if you got a Mudshot Poliwrath, guess what? Your Alolan Raichu that Alolan Raichu is gonna be taking some heavy damage from those Mud Shots, and then you're gonna get to those charge moves really fast. And then you got Lucario, who's got the Shadow Ball, right? It's got the Shadow Ball. It says I can handle this Alolan Raichu, so I like Alolan Raichu, but it's just hard for me to use personally. It does well against a lot of the Psychic type Pokemons below, except for that Claydol. I put Claydol with a yellow border around it to remind you that it resists the crap out of electric moves. So it is a freaking wall. It just walls out that Alolan Raichu. So I think there are better Confusion users personally, but I like Claydol in that role specifically. It really does stink though, because it takes really big hits from that Shift Tree and really big hits from those Aqua Tails. You got Ice Punches from the fighters. There's a lot of different ways it takes super effective damage, but it does really well against Alolan Raichu. Can't wait to try it with double move sets so I can just not have just Earthquake. And anyways, let's just move over to the Xatu. We'll go back to the Confusion users in a second. The Xatu, I like the Xatu personally. If I had to choose between 2 Psychic Pokemon, I'd go with the Confusion user and a Xatu for me personally. I really like using it. I have more success with using it than I do with Alolan Raichu, because I feel like when I use Alolan Raichu as my Psychic type slot, and then sometimes I try to run 2 Psychics to get rid of some fighters, I just feel like I have issues, man. I just don't feel as successful. But anyways, Xatu, it does really well with those flying fast moves. With the Ominous Wind, it hits that pretty quickly, and then it has the Aerial Ace that is going to hit for pretty good damage against pretty much everybody in the meta. It does really well, yeah, so just remember that. And it does really well against most of the other Confusion users, because it has the Ominous Wind, and it's going to get there faster than most of the Confusion users. Let's go down to Confusion users. The best one, I'm really searching for this one. Like I mentioned with the Poliwrath earlier, I really want a Shadow Ball Hypno so bad. I hope I can find one. To me, it's clearly the best Confusion user. After that, I really like the Slowbro Bronzong, and I haven't got a chance to try Gallade, but in theory, I really like that it has a low activation time for the Leaf Blade. It's like the lowest energy costing charge move that most of the Confusion users have. Most of the other Confusion users don't have a low energy charge move that even comes close to Leaf Blade. So that's one thing I like about that. What I like about Hypno, that dude is thick. Slowbro, that dude is thick. So if you get a Hypno can eat some ominous wins from a lot of Pokemon. And actually Claydol can eat an ominous win from most Pokemon too. So they're really thick, but Hypno, that dude is super stupid thick. And honestly, I think you can do okay without Shadow Ball. I really want to get one. If you got a Side Shock, that's cool too. But yeah, Shadow Ball obviously you want the most, but I really just like how thick he is. And I did okay with mine because, you know, you get one Focus Blast off, that's pretty straight. You get in the right move to where you can go take down a Toxicroak or a fighting Pokemon in a couple hits, and now maybe you can get to your Focus Blast because you don't have Shadow Ball, because it's so thick that it lasts longer against those dark types than the average Confusion user. But anyways, Bronzong is going to be really good as well with that Heavy Slam and Flash Cannon combo. You have one that's a little lower energy and one that does more damage. Don't really need Psychic on that one. I like the Slowbro with the Ice Beam. It has a pretty quick activation there, and it's also thick enough to where it usually can get off one of those Ice Beams. Chimecho, I like Chimecho. I think it's pretty straight. I don't have like Shadow Ball, Side Shock on mine, so I'm not as successful using mine, but I have been worked over by a Chimecho or two, and it is decently thick. So those are a lot of Confusion users. I'd rank them Hypno, Bronzong. It's hard to get between Bronzong and Slowbro, but then I'll go Slowbro. I really like this Claydol. It's really hard, man. Just try to get that Hypno, and if not, just feel it out, man. It's really like, what do you like? What works for you? And it's just like so similar in most situations you get yourself in with a lot of these Pokemon that it's just really hard to pick between them if you don't got that Hypno. Anyways, let's get moving on for you. Spiritomb at the top. Spiritomb is hit or miss on a lot of Pokemon. It gets wrecked by a lot of the dark types, man. So it's going to get wrecked by the fighting and dark types. So it's like, man, what does it really do good against? Like the psychic types that the other dark types also use? I don't think Spiritomb is 100% necessary for your team. I don't think it's 100% OP the way people made it out to be. Personally, there are moments where it wrecks shop, for sure, not denying it, but personally I think it gets walled by a couple things. That's not cool. It gets taken down at decent speed by a couple things. That's not cool. And yeah, it's a good Pokemon overall. Do not get me wrong. I still might use it. I really love Spiritomb as a Pokemon, but it's just like, I don't think it's, you know, overwhelmingly great. I don't think it's incredible. I don't think it's like so OP that it needed to be banned, right? So good call leaving it in. I like it. But yeah, that's the breakdown. That's a little simplified breakdown. I would go into more detail, but if I don't get this done right now, it's gonna be another week till I get a video out, man. Yeah, for real. In Arizona right now, having a good time. Just want to say thank you guys for the patience. Hope you guys enjoy your Nightmare Cup. Thank you guys for everyone that's been hooking me up with some love about not making regionals. If you didn't hear, kind of got the shaft so far, unless Sylph comes through and saves me in the last moment. One of my tournaments didn't count. It was set as an open tournament, not a Tempest. So to be a local community leader and get the local invite, you have to have played in at least 3 ranked tournaments. We've done 4 tournaments. Only 2 were ranked. One only had 7 people. One was set inappropriately. And, you know, everyone's saying, you know, email Sylph GG. And initially I didn't for several reasons. We already had 2 people in our community email them. And also, Gemma emailed them about the exact same thing for like a week straight. And no resolution. So, to me, it's like, I emailed them eventually, but it just kind of felt like redundant and kind of like a lost cause. But hopefully something happens. And I'm super bummed about it. I feel like I've worked so hard for this. And just FOMO, right? Who wants to miss out on the first regional tournament? Especially when you feel like you did good enough. But so I'll stop being woe is me. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new, hope you decide to hang out. If not, go do your thing. I can't convince you, can I? But you're loved and appreciated. That's the way I feel. And yeah, signing out. Someone keeps calling me. I'll see you later. I gotta go take this call, I guess. Hello?
so I want you in 100 trillion.
Oh, that's so much.
You could find this at eastern.com. Oh, wow! Pokemon.
Yeah, Rosie, you're the bomb. You did it. You want to just sit here like this with me? Yay!
Watch this.